Hi, in this one, we're going to go over some more examples of exponents. So last time we went over a couple of examples for exponents, and this time we're going to go over some more examples. So let's start with A. Okay, so again, as I emphasized in the last video, the exponent of 4 does not apply to the negative. Okay, it only applies if there's a parenthesis. So does not apply to the negative. The only thing it applies to is the base of 3. So what's gonna happen is you're still gonna have a negative right here. Okay. And then you have 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. What is that? That is 9 times 9, which is 81. So negative 81 is going to be your answer. Okay. So for this one, you do have a parentheses. So the 4 applies to your negative and it applies to your 3. Since we have an even power, the negative is going to turn into a positive. Therefore, the answer to this one is going to be a positive 81. Okay, something to keep in mind is PEMDAS. These are, your order of operations, right? Parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. You're always going to do your parentheses before your exponents. If you have just your multiplication and division, you just go from left to right. Same thing with addition and subtraction. Just go from left to right. Okay. The order doesn't actually matter, but it just makes it easier to go from left to right for multiplication, division, and addition, subtraction. Here you have 3 plus 6, or sorry, the quantity of 3 plus 6 raised to the power of 2. This power of 2 is not applying to 3 and is not applying to 6. Okay, it's applying to the sum of 3 and 6. So you cannot distribute this exponent over the sum. Okay, so you have to do what's inside the parentheses first. So 3 plus 6 is 9. So it's going to be 9 squared, which is, again, 81. Okay, so this is not the same thing as 3 squared plus 36 squared, which is 9 plus 36, which if you add together gives you a 45. Okay, so that's not the same thing. All right, so let's go over some examples real quick. So I meant to say this is x and this is y. Okay, so x equals 3 and y equals negative 2, and it says evaluate. So we're just going to plug in x for that and then y for that. So 2 times 3 and 2 times negative 2. And all of that, okay, it's always a good idea to use brackets when you have nested parentheses. You don't have to use brackets. You can use another parentheses if you wanted, but I think the square brackets look a little nicer. So all of this is going to be raised to the power of 2. Okay, so let's look at what's inside. So we have 2 times 3, that's 6. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. And that's going to be raised to the power of 2. 6 minus 4 is 2. Raised to the power of 2, well, that's going to be 4. Okay. Let's try one final example. Here we have x equals 4 and y equals 3, and it's telling us to evaluate. So again, just plug in. So we have 4 plus 2 times 3, and all of that raised to the power of 3. So 4 plus 2 times 3 is what? It's going to be 10, right? 2 times 3 is 6, plus 4, 10. 10 raised to the power is what? That's just 10 times 10 times 10, which is just 1 followed by 3 zeros. In other words, 1,000.